Hello to you and welcome to this video. So as we were having our last discussion that concerned the reasons why a lot of you have not yet received your interview notification, the visa bulletin for the month of December, which shows cutoff numbers to apply in January 2023, was released. And so that is what today's discussion concerns. Welcome as we go into the discussion. Welcome back to the discussion. So as I said, today's discussion is about the just released visa bulletin, and it is going to cover four aspects of the bulletin. The first aspect is the new cutoff numbers that will apply in the diversity visa program during the month of January. So as you can see on your screen, for the Africa region, the new cutoff number, the cutoff number that will apply in the month of January 2023 is 20,000. For Asia, that number is 9,000. For both of the exception countries in the Asia region, that is Iran and Nepal, their cutoff numbers that will apply during the month of January is 5,500 for each of them. For the Europe region, it is 15,000. The North America region is 5. Oceania is 650. And finally, the South America region is 1,200. Those are the cutoff numbers that will apply across the various regions during the month of January 2023. I included two exception countries, that is Iran and Nepal, because I have regular viewers from those countries. And so just in case you are from an exception country that I didn't mention, then just let me know in the comment area, and then next time around I'm going to include that country in the discussion. The next thing is the movements that were realized in the visa bulletin numbers. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to place on your screen the last visa bulletin, that is the visa bulletin for the month of November, as well as the just released visa bulletin, the visa bulletin for the month of December. And we will see how the cutoff numbers increased over just 1 month. As you can see on your screen, last month the Africa region was at 9,000 and it has moved to 20,000. Asia was at 3,300 last month, and the new cutoff for the Asia region now is 9,000. In that region, we have Iran, which was at 3,000, and it has passed to 5,500. Nepal was at 1,700, and it has moved to 5,500 as well. Europe was at 6,100, and it has moved to 15,000. The North America region, which is the smallest region, is the only region that was maintained at its cutoff of 5. Oceania was at 400 last month. It has moved to 650. And finally, the South America region, which was at 575, has moved to 1,200. And that takes us to our third point in this video, which is the implication of these movements. I've said that before. During the first half of the fiscal year, generally the cutoff numbers in the visa bulletin increase from 1 month to another. And what that does is to allow cases that were not current for interview the previous month to become current for interview. And so, before the release of the current visa bulletin, cases in the Africa region that had case numbers of 9,000 or above could not be scheduled for interview. But with this movement from 9,000 to 20,000, it means that cases in the Africa region from 9,000 to 19,999 case number can now be scheduled for interview because they have now become current with the movement of the Africa cutoff number from 9,000 to 20,000. In the Asia region, cases with case numbers ranging from 3,300 to 8,999 have just become current with the movement in their cutoff number. Iran and Nepal are the exceptions. In Iran, if you have a case number of 3,000 to 5,499, then your case number has now become current. And for Nepal, it is in the range of 1,700 to 5,499. For Europe, the range is 6,100 to 14,999. In the North America region, as we said, there is no movement. For Oceania, the newly included range is 400 to 649. And then finally, for South America, it is 575 to 1,199. So all of these ranges that I'm citing are ranges that were not current for interview before the release of the current visa bulletin. But with the increase in the regional cutoff numbers as shown in the new visa bulletin, case numbers that find themselves in the various ranges that I just mentioned have all become current. They have now been added to cases that were previously current, and all of them can look forward to receiving their interview notification as of now, provided they have submitted their DS-260, which is the other condition. But remember that we said in the last video that the fact that your case has met both conditions to be scheduled for interview does not necessarily mean that your interview will be scheduled immediately. I'm saying this because the question continues to be asked as new cases become current. You have applicants saying, for example, I submitted my DS-260 in the month of June. My case number has become current, but so far I have not yet received my interview notification, something I explained in the last video. And so if you did not watch that last video, especially for those of you whose case numbers have just become current, I'm going to include the link to that video in the description of this one. I encourage you to click on that link and watch that video, because after watching that video, you will understand why that happens. Now, another thing is that even with the increase in the various regional cutoff numbers, most case numbers are still not current. And so in case you have a case number that is the same as the number that is shown in the new visa bulletin for your region, or your case number is higher than that number, then it means that your case number is not yet current and you cannot expect to receive your interview notification as yet. You will have to wait until next month to consult the next visa bulletin to see whether your case number will become current by then. And now to our fourth and final point. In this final point, I intend to focus on the sharp increase in the current visa bulletin cutoff numbers. There is detailed explanation to that effect, and so what I have decided is that I'm going to make a separate video in order to provide you with that explanation. But to just give you an idea of what that will concern, usually when we see these things, that is increase in the cutoff number from say 9,000 to 20,000, or 3,300 to 9,000, or 6,100 to 15,000, the general impression we get out there is good news. Good news for diversity visa applicants. But such an increase is not necessarily good news. It may be good news for some applicants, but in many other respects, it may not be good news. And so that is what I will be elaborating on in the next video. Now, for those of you who would like to have access to the visa bulletin, I'm also going to include the link to the bulletin in the description of this video. So just click on that link, and once the page opens, scroll down that page, and then you will find both of the tables that I showed you earlier in this video. And so for today, that is about all. Thanks for watching the video. As usual, let's continue discussing in the comment area below, and I will see you, God willing, in the next video. Until then, goodbye.